All right, we're live. How's everybody doing? It's been a minute since I did one of these. Has it? I don't know. It feels like it has been a minute. Okay, let me sort of give folks a chance to show up. And put these links in. Look at my own stream. I hit the gym hard today, guys, like hard. My arms are feeling it. I feel like it's hard for me to even lift my arm. I know it doesn't show, and that's because it's been the first time I hit the gym in a minute. Not gonna lie. Okay. Here's that. Pin that. All right. Let's get started with some Melon Steve. We got Mel today.
All born kind and compassionate towards animals, and that's all born kind and compassionate towards animals, and that's taken away from children. Children's books, happy farms, it's all this brainwashing, right?
Yes, because kids generally love animals.
My name's Mel, what's your name?
Crystal.
Crystal, oh I love that name.
Thank
Oh,
you.
so lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
So you've just watched the footage
Yeah.
of what happens to animals inside farms and slaughterhouses.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
This video made me feel like it's horrible.
It is.
It's horrible, like no words.
No words.
I don't think anyone deserves that. I was kind of teary-eyed earlier because I didn't realize.
Oh, you see animals and milk and eggs. I didn't know. I didn't know. Because have you ever seen that footage on TV before? No.
They don't show that part.
No. Why don't you think they show it?
Probably because they're encouraging people, because it's still part of profits.
That's it. You got it.
So,
You got
profits,
it.
So
Yeah. What do you think would happen if they showed the reality on the TV?
I think people will realize what we're doing to the animals.
Yeah.
And probably people will likely stop eating meat.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
gonna.
Do you think anybody would fund that after they've seen that? No. Do you think you would fund that now after you've seen that?
No.
No.
So yeah, I feel so bad.
Strangely, some people will watch footage like that and still fund it. But it's nice to know, like, who those people are, in my opinion. It's a good character test. So, yeah.
As I've said, no words.
Yeah.
It kind of changed my perspective, my view in regards. As I've said, I still eat meat, but this video, like,
Might change that.
Yeah.
I used to pay for this for 26 years of my life, so I'm not here to judge. I was so angry. When I saw that footage, I was angry and sad because I was like, I've always loved animals. Like, I would always cuddle dogs and pigs, and I'd try and do the best for animals. My dog was my best friend, and I was angry that I had been lied to. So it's not like the public's fault, because we have been lied to. So it's the industry's fault for lying to us to partake in the violence. But do you know who has the power to stop what happens to
Us.
Yes.
Us, people who buy meat for food. I think it can start from us.
Yeah. So our small action of not paying for that could collapse the industry.
Yes,
Do you want that industry to collapse, or do you want it to continue?
No.
We want to absolutely make that industry collapse to the floor, don't we?
Yes. I think, as I've said, no one deserves that kind of treatment.
Yeah.
I know, like, they're like killing the animals for food, but it's a very horrible way to do that. They're like their ways of doing that is.
Yeah. What do you think would be a good way of doing it?
No way.
No way. There's no way. There's no good way to kill an animal who doesn't want to die. Yeah. So this isn't just the meat industry. It's also.
Good job, Crystal. Crystal gets it. Awesome person.
The egg industry and the dairy. Did you see that as well? What they did to the chicks?
Yes.
What did they do to the chicks?
Dairy free. I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. Do you know why you're dairy free? Are you lactose intolerant?
I just since I came here to the UK, I started not feeling good if I'm like just drinking like the
cow's milk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started.
Do you know why that is?
Probably process or
Because we're not baby cows.
Oh,
So
yes.
cow's milk should only be for baby cows. It's for them to grow like really big, really fast.
Yeah.
So like, do you think that's crazy? Like, we're not baby cows, but these industries have pretended we need to drink cow's milk. Now, I didn't even know that cows only produce milk for their babies.
Yeah.
I just thought they ate grass and produced milk, and then I was almost doing them a favor drinking cow's milk.
I think it can start when we're young.
Yes.
Like with me, I have a daughter. I think it can start with like educating them of
Yes.
what's happening, or you know, for them to like bring that when they grow up, so they won't also support this kind of
I love that. I love
So,
that. Like,
yeah.
you're like, once you see your children need to know so they don't support it. I love that. That's so
Yes,
true.
that's true.
Because the industry as well, you know, like children's books, Happy Farms,
Yes.
Old MacDonald Had a Farm.
Yes.
It's all this brainwashing, right?
Yep.
They don't show kids that. If you showed a child that, what do you think would happen?
Of course they won't, because kids generally love animals.
Yes.
So
Kids do love animals. You're so right. We're all born kind and compassionate towards animals. And
Yeah, the cruel irony is that all these like books, like, you know, little children's books about the happy farm and everything are playing into people's love of animals and sort of teaching them that, oh, it's okay to do this to them. It's a symbiotic relationship. The animals are happy. They love it. We love it. It's just a nice system that works. And it's fucked.
that's taken away from children, and you end up with adults who are paying for this violence because of this propaganda and brainwashing. So what are you going to do? Are you going to
You can't hear, huh? Hang on. Is it just you? Hang on. Maybe you can't even hear me. Let's see. Is anybody else out there? Can they confirm whether or not they can hear the video or not? Thanks for supporting these activists. Yeah, you too, Eston. You too. Crazy for bananas. Thank you. Appreciate it. You can hear. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
continue to pay for this, or are you going to stop?
No, I'll go full. Because anyway, I love my vegetables. I mean, when I eat meat, it kind of gives me like a, as I've said, it's part of my culture. But ever since I came here to the UK, I had that kind of option not to eat meat all the time. So I think whenever I eat meat, I kind of have like bad tummy.
Yep.
So I usually eat vegetables. So now I think I just go full vegetable. Just full vegetable because I cannot eat or enjoy meat.
Knowing
When
that happens, right? Or eggs or dairy.
Yeah.
So there's someone who boycotts that industry. They're called a vegan. Have you ever heard of vegan before?
I've heard. Yeah.
So do you know what a vegan is?
I think they're like making, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
I think they're making meat-like products but with vegetables or...
Yeah. So I see where you're going. So so I'm a vegan. So I'm basically someone who is against what you just saw.
Yeah.
So against exploiting animals or seeing them as like a slave or commodity. So I boycott that industry. So I just don't pay for that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right though. Like I can still have I still eat vegan burgers or vegan sausages, vegan kebabs. Everything I had before, I now have the same but without harming the animals.
Yes.
So I have now like soy milk or oat milk instead of cow's milk.
Yes.
And I also have there's a company called Just Egg or like scrambled tofu as eggs now. So I don't pay for that industry too. But yeah, the whole time we're not.
It's nice to watch a video like this where this woman here just is not looking for any excuses and is just connecting with how she feels inside. And the only thing that I would have mentioned, and I think Mel's sort of doing it, is just when she was like, I think I'll just go full vegetable, just maybe pointing out she may be under the impression that all she can eat is vegetables if she's vegan, which is just not the case. I mean, what I mean to say, I think some people, and I'm not saying she does, it may have just been the phrasing that she used, but some people look at it, it's extremely limiting. Just plant? I mean, no, Just vegetables and fruits? That's all I can eat? No, dude, you can eat pasta. You can eat, ice cream. You can eat all this shit that you eat. So, but Mel is making that point right now with like, I eat just egg. I eat, all that stuff.
Not vegan. Animals are going in slaughterhouses for us, and it broke my heart when I saw that. So, yeah, just so you know, you don't have to just eat vegetables.
Yes.
You can go to the supermarket and you can find.
Yeah.
I actually tried one time, the sausage.
Yes, then everybody was lurking, huh? Me too, crazy for bananas. I expanded my range of foods too. I eat more stuff now than I ate before, because you start to think a little more creatively about foods and stuff. 40-year-old vegan. I remember this event. Mel and I couldn't film together because we make too much fun of each other, so Steve had to step in. Nice. Alicia, what's up? What's up? What's up, Felix? What's up, Bretta? Yeah, you guys now. You guys say, hey, okay, you just popping in and watching. That's fine. No pressure or anything. But I don't bite. Okay, I don't bite.
Are like vegan.
Yeah.
I think that the name of the company is Richmond.
Richmond, yeah.
Unless you happen to be dry roasted edamame, and then I bite a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. As I've said, there was a phase where I'm like vegan vegetarian,
Yeah.
but I think I'll just go full with this video.
Full vegan now.
I don't think I can, tolerate this kind of practice. It's just so sad.
I like the words you use. We shouldn't tolerate this, and the animals shouldn't tolerate that on behalf of us.
Yeah.
And I really love that you're going to teach your children.
Yeah,
And
of course.
it's actually really important that we do stick up for the animals too, because once we see, we can change and we can remove ourselves from those industries.
Yes.
But the animals only have us helping them to get out of this. So
That's true.
animals will only have liberation when all these people have seen what you've seen and they all change. So
Thank you for showing that to me. I was kind of, as I've said, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
All I know is just I'm buying that in the grocery.
Yeah,
That's just it.
they don't show you that, do they?
Thank
Yeah.
you for showing me that.
Oh, thank you for saying thank you. Can I give you a hug? Thank you so much. It's been so nice meeting you. I'm going to leave you with a card as well, just if you want to speak to your daughter or anybody else as well. There's a documentary called Dominion, and there's also help on there to help you go vegan, so you can understand, like my trainers there from Skechers, they're vegan, so no leather or wool or things like that.
All right.
That will really help you out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for on behalf of the animals for choosing compassion for them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.
too. Have a lovely
Thank
day.
you.
Thank
Bye, and enjoy you can grab a prize as well.
Thank you so much.
That was a new vegan right there created. Nice job, Mel. She was easy, though. She was easy. You barely had to do anything, Mel. But you gave her the good information. And yeah, that was a slam dunk.
So she's been my favorite conversation today.
Yeah.
There's nothing more like beautiful than seeing someone's compassion, and she didn't have any pushback. She hated what she saw, and like she said, she's like, I didn't know, but now I've seen that, I'm going like full vegan, like that's terrible. And I also loved that she said we shouldn't tolerate this, and I'm going to tell my child, because then they can stop paying for this as well. They can stop being part of this as well, because it doesn't stop with us. We can go vegan, but we need to tell the world.
Yeah, I like that strong language too. Like I don't want to tolerate this. That's forceful. I like that. Maybe Crystal will be a good activist as well.
We need to tell everybody, because we are the only hope the animals have. So without us being vegan, without us sticking up for the animals, they won't be liberated. But because people like her exist and people doing this outreach today and all the vegans and activists in the world, animals will have liberation. And they'll have liberation faster because those people will be speaking up for them. All born.
Really cool. Really cool. All right, let me put the link to that video. That was, you guys know who. That was Mel doing her activism. It's not a Jeremy live stream if we don't react to some Mel and Steve. And I haven't done a reaction video in a few days, and I had missed out on that last video. I'm glad I watched it. I needed that, guys. I needed that. Damn right, Eston. I needed that one, guys. I needed a little boost. of optimism in humanity. So you guys know what to do. Go sub to Mel and Steve if you're not. I know everybody chatting here probably is, but maybe there's somebody lurking in the background who hasn't yet announced their presence, and they're just feeling this situation out, and they're like, I don't know, maybe I'll sub to me as well if you're one of those people. All right, which direction do we want to go next? Because I have this channel that we've watched a few videos from. We watched this Keith Mann interview, and then we watched this hilarious, what was it? It was a ridiculous documentary, murder mystery style documentary about Keith Mann that I really enjoyed. And we had a lot of fun with that for Halloween, leading up to Halloween. But anyway, I figured this channel is cool and I kind of want to watch everything on it. So maybe we should just start at the beginning. Why not? Let's learn the history, guys. Let's learn the history that has been lost to each subsequent generation. Did I watch that? Why does it show the red all the way through? I don't think I watched that. Siege of Darley. Okay, anyway, we'll just go in order. And if you guys, if you see one that jumps out at you that you would rather watch, then just let me know. But this is Beam and De Silva, Hunt Sabs, ALF. Let's check it out. Some of these are like interesting interviews so far, and then some of them are just ridiculous retellings made by people opposed to animal liberation, and it's just an archive. It's a cool channel. So yeah, it's a pretty cool channel. But yeah, if you guys see anything, Mel and Steve are legit crazy for bananas. They are about as legit as it gets. It is, David, probably. I think with more absurdity. You got to fight fire with fire. I think that's a proven fact. Nobody ever put out a fire with water. Okay, this is going to be silly, I bet. Which excites me. Okay. Who are they? What is this?
Fox hunting is a countryside tradition.
But the thrill of the chase is a blood sport.
At the end of the day, it means a kill.
And that's leading to war between the hunters and those passionately committed to killing off the sport for good.
And now, new private armies have been hired to protect the hunters and gather intelligence on those sabotaging the hunts.
At the same time, a few mastics...
I've read about the private armies that the hunters hired. Really cool honor of a lifetime was having Ronnie Lee on my channel recently, and there's a biography written about Ronnie Lee that I was able to skim in like a day. It was a real quick read because it's so fascinating, his story. Not a very long book, but anyway, he talked about at one point this this group that was hired to like intimidate the hunt sabs, and he described how the hunt sabs brought all these people who are like trained in karate one time, and that Ronnie was like sitting in a vehicle, and this like, you know, bunch of like hunt goons or whatever you might call them, thugs or something, was there, and they like got out of the car, and it was like a full on like karate brawl, like Bruce Lee style brawl, and the karate guys won, and then they never saw that group again. Just like, it sounds made up, but I'm sure it was real. I'm sure it happened.
Extremists have widened the war over what they regard as animal abuse and brought it into the city.
Some people are going to extreme lengths to fight for what they believe are the rights of animals.
Every weekend, two sides confront each other in the countryside over fox hunting.
We investigated the mounting toll of violence and the latest tactics used by both sides. Adele Chrisman from Redbridge and Linda Embleton from Guildford don't look like frontline radicals, but they're dedicated members of the Hunt Saboteurs Association.
Nice.
At weekends, they shout and scream to throw the hounds off the fox's scent. They came to our office to tell us of a disturbing new development in what they said was a barbaric sport.
And there is no place in any civilised society for something as brutal and as callous and as bloody as killing for sport, for fun.
Are you willing to be arrested for it?
Absolutely.
Linda, what exactly did you want to tell us about hunting?
Well, every aspect of hunting, but firstly I would like you to investigate, if you will, the hunt's latest tactics of using security men to keep us off private land.
Linda, aren't you?
Sorry, let me catch up on the chat. Yeah, Ronnie's laugh. He's really cool. Obviously. Right, Eston, they do. Yep.
Concerned about your own safety?
Most definitely.
Yes,
These are
absolutely.
hired thugs, and they won't stop just because I'm 47 or a grandmother or whatever. I'm a saboteur.
Both are part of an urban army which sallies forth from London to do battle. Adele and I joined the Brixton mob, the shock troops of the Hunt Saboteur movement. Their vehicles, their clothes, had almost a military image. You've got a very kind of distinct image.
An obvious image only comes about because of need, and we need to dress in a certain way for functioning the way we do. We run over large fields, we jump over fences.
Yes.
How do you feel about going out with, with all these
It's great.
youngsters?
They're nice kids. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, lovely.
Soon it was time to saddle up for the hunt. The Brixton mob climbed into their battle wagons and battened down the hatches. Adele and I got into our van and the convoy moved out of Brixton's side streets. A fox hunt was about to get some very unwelcome visitors. We motored out of the city and headed south through Surrey and into North Sussex, fox hunting country.
Pumping me up with that old style music.
We neared the hunting fields. The police quickly picked us up and tailed the saboteurs' convoy.
I, meanwhile, had my Hunt supporters hat on to investigate who exactly were the men guarding the hunt.
Roger, brown shirts down here, just down the road, 5 minutes away from you. All right.
I came across them almost immediately. They were blocking an entrance to Petworth Park, a National Trust property, and filming everything that moved to build up information on the Hunt saboteurs.
Soon our quarry came trotting down the road, the Chiddingfold, Leconfield and Cowdrey hunt. The saboteurs had to run miles to keep up. So did I. It felt like a marathon. Keeping up with the saboteurs every step of the way were the grim-faced guards, who then shut the park gate on us, even though it was a public footpath and we had right of way. When challenged, they had to let us through. They had no authority to stop us.
They'd already let me in because I looked like a Hunt supporter. I used a secret camera behind their lines and discovered this hired van. I helped it out of the mud and found it had brought security guards from as far away as Nottinghamshire for the day.
People were rushing about in all directions. I'd run out of breath and got separated from Adele, our granny saboteur.
The guards, however, were equipped with two-way radio.
The granny was outrunning her. That's funny. Might be the 1990s, Bretta. It seems maybe even earlier, though.
The guards cost £85 a day, and some have military backgrounds. They were used to dealing with trouble and reacting quickly.
Offensive weapons?
Well over 100 saboteurs from all over the southeast were still trying to disrupt the hunt.
Despite heavy security, they were succeeding.
I have 100-odd saboteurs somewhere down in there, and I've got about another 30 over there.
Fearing violence, the hunt organisers decided it was best to call it a day.
You're not going to get sorted out.
Fearing violence, the hunters decided to call it a day. Didn't want any violence, said the hunters.
You're not going to have fisticuffs and things like that.
We're going home.
But the saboteurs' convoy didn't go home.
Good.
Because they didn't believe the hunt was being abandoned.
We're following the Brixton lot because we're going to go to the kennel to see whether the kennel's there. But we still haven't located Adele.
The hardcore sabs were gathering at the kennels to see if the hounds were back. And that's where I finally met up with Adele again.
Where have you two been? We've been looking everywhere for you.
We've been looking for you. What happened was we got cut off because I'm a little bit slower. And we actually stumbled on the hunt and the supporters, and we have been knocked and pushed and shoved and screamed at everywhere.
Then the violence started. Some saboteurs threw bricks and stones over the kennel walls. They were promptly tossed back by the other side.
What I wanted to know is what the purpose of this is now.
Well, the huntsman is a real die-hard sort of hunt-type person, and he hunts right till it gets dark normally, so I can't believe, and the police haven't actually confirmed it to us, that they've actually packed up now. So we're trying to get a look and see if the hounds are in the kennels.
A masked sab was trying to peer over the wall. He was hit hard by someone on the other side, only feet away from the police. The man was taken to hospital with suspected concussion.
The hunt organisers stayed...
He was hit... A masked...
So we're trying to get a look and see if the hounds are in the kennels.
A masked sab was trying to peer over the wall. He was hit... A masked sab was trying to peer over the wall.
You got hit by like a stick or something.
A masked sab was trying to peer over the wall. He was hit hard by someone on the other side, only feet away from the police.
Maybe he
The
hit
man
his
was
head on the
taken to
ground
hospital
too.
with suspected concussion.
The hunt organisers stayed protected behind police lines whilst urging them to act against the saboteurs. The kennel yard had been pelted with missiles and vehicles inside were damaged. The hunt was angry they'd been subjected to what they saw as intimidation.
So angry they let us in to see for ourselves. The hunt insisted it was only the saboteurs who were breaking the law.
But we discovered later that Jeremy Whaley, the hunt master, doesn't have lily white hands either.
Why don't you just speak to us on camera?
Because I don't think you need it.
The police that day were caught in the middle, their powers limited because trespassing on private land is not a criminal offence.
The police are loath to go onto private property to deal with sabotage unless they feel there's a real chance that there is likely to be a breach of the peace. So what we've done is to train up some stewards or marshals.
The red-coated fox hunter now needs a bodyguard to go about his day's sport.
They're stupid-ass uniforms, man. Yo, what's up, Jake? Nice to see you. John McKenzie.
It can lead to a riot, like the one we filmed a few weeks ago in Essex. Stewards were there, and so were the police. Fighting broke out. 26 people were arrested and 6 injured. Increasingly, the police are being drawn into advising hunts who decide to hire guards.
And I discussed this with the Assistant Chief Constable, and he said, well, if you decide to do that, we will cooperate with you and we'll actually give your stewards instructions.
Training?
And some training, yes.
What sort of training?
And he would do it free of charge. And so the stewards met an inspector one evening, and he went through the law with them.
The law can be applied in rather a rough and ready fashion by the Essex Hunt, though sometimes even they slip up.
I am leaving the bank. I am leaving the bank. Oh, give me leave first.
These camouflage...
Hang on. There could be a... I think you're right about the 90s. It says investigation program featuring various Southern hunts, their private security, and the hunt saboteurs, including the infamous Brixton mob. Also featuring Mike Huskisson's undercover investigation into fraudulent practices of the Chiddingfold hunt and interviews with both Ronnie Lee and an anonymous member of the Animal Liberation Front after an attack on a slaughterhouse in East London. Also including news clip regarding Wiltshire Council ban of hunting on council land circa 1997, ? News clip regarding demonstration against BNP fascist bookshop in Eltham, I don't know, following the racist murder of Stephen Lawrence. A lot of stuff, like, I just don't even know what they're talking about. So it's just interesting to get this history.
Stewards who had battled with saboteurs the week before can only use minimum force to evict people from the land. Do it, man.
Tell me why. The saboteurs tried to walk down a footpath to pursue the hunt and had their way firmly blocked by the stewards. The police backed them up.
It's all been explained to the men before. It's a public footpath to walk down and to cross to other land.
We're not.
You're not. You're going down there for another purpose.
No, let's do it. Come on. Yeah. Come on, let's do it.
Stop them.
No. You take us to court and you prove.
You're not having
Right, now listen, I'm telling you, any more and you are all going to be arrested. I'm not having it. Come on, off or you're going to be arrested. That's the situation.
I'm not having it.
You know the law. I've explained it at length this morning.
If you don't move, you're all getting arrested. I'm not having it. I'm using these to perfect my voices.
Think to stop somebody walking down a public footpath?
Yes, there is.
How do you know what we're
Yes,
going to
there
walk
is.
down there?
I'm not going to bandy words with you. If there's any more of this now...
I'm not going to bandy words with you.
You are going to be arrested.
You're
The
going to be
violence
arrested.
is getting worse.
Okay.
There have been hundreds of arrests, dozens of injuries, and one death 2 years ago.
I like that, though. I'm not going to bandy words with you, trolls. I'm going to read too many trolls and not bandy words, okay? Right?
Often it ends up in the courts. Solicitor John Mackenzie has had much experience acting for hunt saboteurs who've been assaulted and falsely arrested.
I've heard a number of accounts of stewards attempting to throw saboteurs off land, and the stewards didn't even know whose land it was. They had no idea where they were. They were simply chancing their arm and trying to brave it out.
Are their actions legal in that case?
No, they're not, no. I've heard an incident described to me where stewards used violence on saboteurs to remove them from some land, and the landowner appeared and threw the stewards off. They were simply being gratuitously violent.
Hey, gents and ladies.
An early morning briefing at the Surrey Hunt, where complicated legal issues of trespass and breach of the peace are explained to people who've had little experience of them before.
So I've agreed that if you're all presented to me with yellow armbands...
The fact these stewards now wear yellow armbands gives them legal authority.
Okay. I'll wear a yellow armband then.
Stiffened perhaps with a little refreshment.
These men are the professionals. They belong to a security company called Country Watch.
Put one on yourself.
These lads have been hired for the day by the hunt.
We want a peaceful day.
Everybody's ready to go after a traditional something to keep the chill out. But the protection's coming from places where fox hunting isn't exactly a regular pastime. You all live here, so this is your...
I'm from Islington.
You're from Islington?
Yeah.
You're a mock man.
They're the amateurs.
I think like a lot of videos I watch from the past, it always looks real foggy there.
David Dunn, boss of Country Watch, isn't.
Okay, they're coming through this wood here. Right.
He's an ex-soldier from New Zealand and very much in charge.
I've never been to the UK before, or Europe, actually, for that matter.
Leave the land.
But it's the hide for the day stewards who are the ones who frequently confront the saboteurs in the fields. Both their tempers and their zeal can worry the police. Here officers had to push the stewards back and warn them.
Let's go. And the rest of you, you're not telling us how to do our job. All right.
Young or old, the stewards will push saboteurs off the land.
Though often they do put up with astonishing provocation.
Whoa. Whoa, sakes, Lisa, you're on the private land.
Usually it ends up in a standoff. Luckily, David Dunn...
I do, Alicia. If it weren't for, concerns over money, I would already have done it. But, you got to prioritize where you can prioritize.
...diffuse this one.
We don't really have that much control over the other stewards. They are working here for the local landowner as well, but we haven't really got the same control over them as we have over our own men. Normally, we don't have another security group with us. We do the work ourselves to try to keep the peace and keep the violence out of the situation.
For the Surrey hunt, that meant corralling them behind the protective gates of a disused factory.
Dunn organises security for 14 hunts. Business is booming, as long as there's trouble.
Apparently there's been a very nasty incident about 2 miles away, and people have been injured. There are some very nasty people around.
I've had fights 3 miles away from you, so it's gone.
Oh, man, there's been some people injured, very nasty people around, says the guy who shoots foxes. Is that it? Wait, he had...
There are some very nasty people around.
I've had fights 3 miles away from you, so it's gone far, far beyond your...
Well, this is what we've always said, aren't we? That these people are just looking for violence and trouble.
So, whilst you were quite happily hunting down here, I've got large-scale fighting going on the other side.
So you're requesting that we stop?
I'm requesting that it's over now today. We can tell your land agents it's all over, and I can tell our saboteurs it's all over.
So we're being actually told to stop hunting?
I'm requesting you to stop, yes.
Right. Okay. I think a collective decision is that we'll take the police's advice.
We have to.
So from...
Good. Get the fuck out of there. That's the fox's land, not your land.
From a law and order point of view, this area has become a no-go area because we can no longer carry out a lawful activity in this area.
Hunt sabotage has been a major problem.
Yeah, I think what the cop meant to say is go fuck yourself. I don't know if that's what he meant to say, but that's what I heard.
In the south, but most of Britain's 200 hunts are peaceful.
We went to the capital of fox hunting to see what it was like away from the human violence.
The beaver hunt in Leicestershire is one of the biggest in the country. They hunt 4 days a week.
We're going to see roughly over 100 riders.
Beaver hunt. Eston, I don't know. But I think maybe some people in my chat could know.
This meat, and that's not the biggest meat they have.
Nationally, it's claimed 250,000 people go fox hunting. 16,000 jobs depend on it, so it's vital to the countryside.
Should it be an integral part of the countryside? Is what they're doing inherently cruel?
Music. Gotta look stupid. Let's make sure we look really fucking stupid. Well, you do. Congrats. You do. Yeah, you look
I must say, the traditions are wonderful, especially this tradition. Any chance of a glass?
Do you think you ought to give them a glass or not? If they're on our side.
How long have you been riding for?
Oh, sorry, that's sad.
to ride side saddle when I was
No,
12 years
I don't.
old.
12?
Jumping the hurdle of negative public opinion is the task confronting the fox hunters. Like the hounds, the anti-lobby smells blood. They believe the sport will be banned by the turn of the century. Is that the huntsman there?
This is the huntsman here.
Hunting is expensive, up to £1,500 a year to join. Some riders here keep 2 horses, though some have difficulty staying on one.
And Charlie the fox isn't that easy to outwit. What do you enjoy about it?
Riding nice horses and jumping nice fences on nice land.
He's getting the...
Yeah, can you do that without shooting animals, I'm wondering? I realize there's animal exploitation going on with the horse riding, but I'm wondering if the things that you say you love about what you're doing didn't involve shooting animals, then maybe you would just stop shooting animals.
Fox secondary.
Jumping nice fences on nice land.
Is getting the fox secondary?
I wouldn't say, when you say getting the fox...
Killing it?
Well, I would think personally, probably yes.
Okay, then fucking stop, you know? I'm sorry, I'm cursing a lot. I need to class it up a little bit.
As paid professional huntsman would be out of a job, and so would the pack of hounds he runs if hunting was banned. Some people think...
I think this is the 90s, John. I think this is the 90s. This is about the hunt sabs. Some early... Here, I'll give you the description here of this. Beeman de Silva, hunt sabs. Investigation program featuring various southern hunts, their private security, and the hunt sabs. Is the short version of that.
When a hound gets a fox, or when the hounds get the fox...
You're doing the
they
history,
tear it to
John.
pieces. Is that what happens?
Hang on, yeah.
Hounds he runs, if hunting was professional huntsman, would be out of a job, and so would the pack of hounds he runs if hunting was banned.
Wait. Are you saying we'd have unemployed hounds? Well, okay, that's a good point that I didn't think of. Unemployed hounds. You know, that unemployment rate is ticking up.
Job. What do you enjoy about it?
Riding nice horses and jumping nice fences on nice land.
Is getting the fox secondary?
I wouldn't say, when you say getting the fox...
Killing it?
Well, I would think personally, probably yes.
The beaver's paid professional huntsman would be out of a job, and so would the pack of hounds he runs if hunting was banned. Some people think that when a hound gets a fox, or when the hounds get the fox, they tear it to pieces. Is that what happens?
Well, he's dead. He's dead. When they get over him, he's dead.
How quickly?
He either gets away or he's dead.
But how quickly do they kill?
Very quickly. Very quickly. Within seconds.
But it's not always a quick kill. An anti-hunting spy infiltrated the corn hunt and caught them digging out a fox which had run to earth. These
trigger warning.
scenes shocked even the hunting world. First they shot it, and then they tossed the body to the hounds.
The spy, Mike Huskisson, has also conducted an investigation on behalf of the League Against Cruel Sports into an alleged tax fiddle being operated by many of the hunts. It's a secret trade in the hides of dead farm animals, and it's claimed the income is hidden from the taxman. One example is our old friend, the Chiddingfold hunt in Sussex. The master, Jeremy Whaley, runs on the side one of the biggest knackers yards in the area. His men skin the animals and he sells the hides, but he admitted he doesn't tell the taxman about it.
Well, we spoke to him on the telephone and he told us that he doesn't declare his dealings in the skin business to the revenue. We've been told from other hunts that as much as £2,000 a month in cash is taken in by huntsmen dealing in this business.
In cash?
Yes.
Cash in hand?
That's it, all cash.
The investigation found over 60 huntsmen admitted they declared nothing or only part of their income from the trade.
I decided to pose as a hide merchant willing to pay a little over the odds.
Why did they admit it? That's so weird. They must really feel untouchable. Tax evasion is pretty rife across all industries. I know. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, John? Knacker's yard is generally a horse slaughterhouse. I'm learning.
Counting for business, I phoned Mr. Whaley.
Oh, hello. Is that the Chiddingfold, Leconfield and Cowdrey Hunt? That's right, yeah. Is that Mr. Whaley? Oh, Mr. Whaley, I wonder if you can help me.
Roger arranged a purchase from Mr. Whaley and travelled down to Petworth to collect at the kennels. This is the commercial side of hunting, rarely glimpsed by outsiders, but a vital part of the setup. Roger went in with a secret camera while we monitored the deal outside.
We're paying good prices. I mean, we'll pay 15 a hide. Is that acceptable to you?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Whatever happened to this kind of journalism? What happened to this?
Fine. Well, shall I pay you...
Yeah, lovely. Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you 20. Is that all right?
Yeah, fine. That's okay. No problem.
Great.
Okay. Lovely.
Right. Can we just make out a receipt?
Adopted access. Yeah. Just at the LNC Hunt with us. Right.
If we do some, I mean, we're thinking really of trying to get a lot of hides now, and if we do some regular business with you, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to invoice you, or do you want to just, should we just come down?
We're ready to just come down.
Just come down, pay you cash?
Pay cash, yeah.
Okay, fine. I've not dealt with hunts before. Is that how it normally happens?
Well, that's right, yes. I mean, we don't, I mean, you VAT register, what, you're going to declare VAT on?
Well, I mean, if you...
Well, I'd rather you didn't, really.
Right, okay. You'd rather us not declare it?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, fine. All right.
Yes. I mean, you'll find with all the hunts, you'll get more hides that way than you will.
Well, then doing it... Okay, then putting it through the books.
That's right, yeah.
All right, okay. Thanks very much.
Okay, lovely.
Nice to Mr. Whaley claimed he didn't benefit personally from the hide income. He said it all went to the hunt, of which he is the master and paid professional huntsman. The question now was, what on earth were we going to do with our bloody skins?
Right, Rod, well, this is what we got. So we might Denise a little stroll out of this.
Looks like Matthew Hickscott's been at work, doesn't it?
Awful, doesn't it?
Well, that was a bit messy, doesn't it? I didn't realise the skin trade was bloody as well as being lucrative.
Yes, well, some people believe it's just another form of animal abuse that needs to be fought. And I met one man who's been convicted of serious offences in the course of what he calls animal rights.
Ronnie Lee co-founded the Animal Liberation Front. Animals are his life. In 1987, this mild-looking man was convicted of conspiracy to incite arson and criminal damage.
Well, I actually got a 10-year sentence, which meant that I actually served 6 years and 8 months, which is 2/3 of the sentence.
When did you get out?
I got out in November last year.
That's an awfully long time to spend in prison for the sake of animals. Why did you do it?
Well, what's motivated me right from the beginning is to fight for animals. Well, first of all, the terrible suffering that they're put through at the hands of human beings. Secondly, the fact that they can't fight for themselves.
Ronnie, you got involved in animal activism through hunt saboteurs, didn't you?
My story of getting involved in the type of direct action that the ALF carries out does, in a sense, start with hunt saboteurs, because I got involved in hunt saboteurs very early in my, I suppose, in my campaigning days.
Now others are carrying on where Ronnie Lee left off. Roger was told he'd receive a phone call late at night from Charlie, an ALF activist.
Hello. Yes, Charlie. Yeah. Where? Okay.
I didn't know what had happened, but a special unit at New Scotland Yard...
Oh, interesting. Payphones and shit. No, Alicia, I think you're thinking of John Curtin. Ronnie is still campaigning for animals. Nerds like us. You like my hoodie? It's actually a t-shirt. I just wear this often. I like a hood, so I oftentimes I'll wear this like little thin hoodie as well. But yeah, Coalition to Abolish the Fur Trade. Nice design, isn't it? Nice one. Love me some calved. Love me some calved. Yeah, we need good vegan news. Do we have some? Carbon labeling scheme. That's good. Let's do that. The sole U.S. beagle farm is called Marshall Bioresources, and it houses, sorry to use a ridiculous word. They torture 23,000 beagles, I think is the latest number. Don't quote me on it. I see varying numbers, 18 to 23,000. It's much bigger than Ridgeland Farms. They're located in upstate New York in a town, I want to say it's called New Rose, New York. I'm reading about it right as we speak. There's a book that came out. Do I have it? It's not in this room. It's called Lab Dog. Melanie Kaplan wrote it. I'm reading it so I can interview Melanie about her book. I'm on a part of her book where she visited Marshall herself. What's up, Monica? Nice to see you. And yeah, Marshall is kind of the sole remaining. That's the one you're thinking of, Jake. It's Marshall, run by Scott Marshall, and Marshall Bioresources is also the Camp Beagle place. They have a place in the UK called MBR Acres, and that's where they have a 24/7 protest where John Curtin, as Alicia alluded to, and many other people are camped out there 24/7 to protest MBR Acres, which, by the way, has fewer beagles than Ridgeland had and far fewer than they have in New York State. So the fact that the Marshall Bioresources in New York is coasting is very interesting, isn't it? I think that, that may be that, Ridgeland was first, I'm not the strategist here, but I imagine Ridgeland was next on the list, I guess. And then it goes to Marshall. So hopefully they are a thing of the past soon too. I mean, Ridgeland is still open, but they've lost their breeding license or will lose it soon. And they're sort of on their way out. The fight for those beagles continues. My last interview was with Rebecca Robinson from Dane for Dogs, and we talked a lot about that. So check out that interview if you're interested. And I've interviewed John Curtin. There's been more focus on beagle stuff lately. I interviewed Fiaz Ahmed, who's working on a documentary about all this called Born on Death Row. Of course, Wayne Shung sort of got the ball rolling with Ridgeland Farms with his rescue. He's been on my channel twice, I think. And talked to Tom Harris from the Shack campaign, and he's pretty involved. He cites this moment that he had where he was getting arrested and he knew he couldn't save the dogs that was in the facility that he was getting arrested in. And he made a promise to the dog that he would never stop fighting for those beagles, for the dogs. And that was, I think, one of the more powerful moments that I've had in an interview was him telling me that story. So yeah, there's been a lot of dog stuff, and it's only going to increase as that industry is on the ropes. Talk about an industry on the ropes. Testing on dogs, we're gonna see that go away. Then, of course, all the other animals need to go with it, of course.
Is tracking the ALF's actions. My contact and his friends had trashed an East End slaughterhouse and stolen 150 chickens. So for obvious reasons, he was wearing a mask when I met him.
Is it Charlie?
Yeah.
Roger Beam.
we found that there was 400 chickens in there. So what we thought was the best thing to do was take as many chickens out as possible and then go in and do as much damage as possible.
How many of you took part in the action?
There was 8 of us involved altogether. I've been taking actions for 5 years, from small scale up to bigger scale actions.
And how long will you continue?
I'll just continue until I get caught or sent to prison or animal abuse is stopped.
What's the evidence that you've actually done what you've said you've done at the slaughterhouse, Charlie?
We actually took a video of us inside, which I've got with me now.
Can you pass it to us?
I can do, yeah.
Thank you very much.
The ALF video showed oil and creosote being tipped all over the place to make the premises a health hazard. The slaughterhouse told us they'd been hit several times before. As for the chickens, they've now become free range.
The ALF regards hunt sabotage.
Weird way of saying that. As for the chickens, they've now become free range. She just means they're free. And probably at a sanctuary.
As another episode in their battle. But most saboteurs are not ALF activists, though the pro-hunting lobby calls them terrorists and blames the escalating violence on them.
I go hunt sabbing because it is a form of direct action which is legal, and I can actually get out into the field, the killing fields, and actually see the actions I take saving foxes' lives, and that is why we're out there.
So there's a direct connection between sabbing and taking more direct action?
Well, one's legal and one's illegal.
It's the same people some of the time doing the same things, just like you?
Yes.
Have some hunts stopped hunting because of the sabotage?
No, never. Never. The saboteur's idea is to try to put a hunt out of business permanently, full stop. And they haven't succeeded in that, and they're not going to either, because we will not be beaten by sabotage.
The hunt rides on for now, but only 12 votes in Parliament stopped fox hunting being banned last year.
The hunters insist chasing an artificial scent, for example, rather than a live fox, just wouldn't be the same.
That's Charlie, look.
So for now, Charlie the fox better keep watching his back.
Well, I'm glad the fox got away.
Yes, well, it was with a little bit of help from us. Hello, Charlie.
Elections is that opponents...
Whoa, the journalist... What the...
of
Well, I'm glad the fox got away.
Yes, well, it was with a little bit of help from us. Hello, Charlie.
Elections is that opponents
why did we lose the feed there?
Hello, Charlie.
Elections is that opponents of hunting are now more strongly represented in the Shire counties. Wiltshire County Council, meeting today, said it will decide in July whether to ban the sport on 20,000 acres of council land. Other county councils are expected to follow its lead.
The balance of power has changed at County Hall. Now the fox hunters of Wiltshire find themselves the quarry of a Labour motion to ban hunting on property owned by the county council. All 20,000 acres of it rented out to tenant farmers.
Sorry, let me catch up. Yeah, why did it cut there, John? I don't know. Are there any special laws in New York protecting them, Jake? I imagine. I'm not an expert. Maybe I should invite an expert on this. One of the real knowledgeable people about this subject is named Jeremy Beckham. And he's been on Wayne's program a few times. And yeah, it's like I have a list of like all the people I should interview and in my head, but I actually need to make one so that I get all these people on. But yeah, maybe I'll have Jeremy on. He can talk about. We can double up on our Jeremys. It's officially banned, huh? Is it, John?
An issue that brought demonstrators out in force today for both sides of the argument.
I will do my best to make sure that this particular barbaric activity will in fact stop before the end of the 20th century. I won't stop. This will be the 4th time that I've tried. If I lose it on this occasion, and I'm not prepared to give up and walk away, it will end.
Well, I think they've allowed the the tenants to have their land, and they should decide who they have on their ground. I wouldn't like to be dictated to it who I had into my house, and it's the same argument here.
Wiltshire is just the first county to put the issue to the test. Councillors in Somerset and Hampshire also proposed to vote on a ban later this year, and other counties may follow suit. Tenant farmers, though, say they should decide who goes on their land.
I do like to see the redcoats coming across the farm. It's a very, it's part of Wiltshire, isn't it, when the hounds come across the field.
The Wiltshire councillors today refer...
He has this emotional, sentimental attachment to seeing those dorks in their little goofy-ass outfits running on, like riding horses with all these beagles running around. What a fucking clown. That's what you're emotionally feeling. Oh, it's England.
Their test case ban to committee for consultation before a final decision.
As they prepare to debate this, my proposal should be that fox hunting should be banned on county council land. The reason for that is that it is an inherent cruelty which is barbaric in a modern society.
It's a call that strikes fear into the hearts of field sportsmen.
That it's not for the county council to decide about hunting, and it's not even for Parliament, though they have supported us recently to decide. But the person to decide is here. That's the one to decide. It's my conscience, your conscience.
Well, you don't seem to have one.
Nevertheless, the debate promises to be a lively one.
The Tories are no longer in control, so I'm yours.
I like that guy.
Show that bit.
I like that guy.
The demonstration and the debate taking place here today is likely to be repeated in other shires where the Conservatives...
That guy doesn't want to bandy words. He'll bandy fingers.
Conservatives lost overall control of the councils in the local government elections.
To protest against racism, highlighted by the recent murder of the black student Stephen Lawrence. But when the marchers reached a bookshop run by the extreme right British National Party, they refused to move on. Police and riot...
Why does it feel like we're tacking on additional content that had nothing to do with the original content? It's strange, but hey.
Gear quickly moved in, themselves becoming the target of a hail of sticks, bricks and stones. A number of protesters were injured, this man mistaken for a member of the BNP. Police on horseback were brought in to clear the demonstrators, and the clashes continued.
Whoa, they hit the horse. Look.
And the clashes continued. Eventually, police managed to split the troublemakers from the main body of the march. Ironically, no members of the British National Party were to be seen. 2 police officers were also hurt. The protesters blamed the police for the violence, but officers accused extremists of hijacking the demonstration. Tonight, the family of Stephen Lawrence, who weren't at the march, disassociated themselves from the events. Anya Sitharam, ITN, in southeast London.
Maybe that was like part of the whole program or something. That was interesting. All right, here's that video. I enjoyed learning, guys. I'm so glad I found this channel. This is a cool channel. Agar Queen. Yeah, I know. I need to write. I'm gonna write. I've got my pencil. Let's do it. Jeremy Beck. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if Jeremy would like the idea that he's going on lists. It's unsettling to us. All right. Did I link it? I think I did. Yeah. Archive of animal liberation films on the net. Now, someone had mentioned John McKenzie. Barry Horn passed away, I believe it was 24 years ago, just a few days ago. Maybe we should watch some Barry Horn stuff too. All right, let's let's do Barry Horn. Okay, we've got a short news clip, got a 10-minute clip, and then we got 16 minutes. Let's do them all. Barry Horn's third hunger strike. I'm sure there's more too. Well, let's check this one out first.
He is trying to force the government to set up a royal commission on animal testing.
6 days, has been moved from hospital back to prison. Doctors at York District Hospital decided he could be looked after equally well in the prison medical centre. His supporters have condemned the move.
Barry Horn was returned to Full Sutton Prison just outside York under police escort to begin the 66th day of his hunger strike. His transfer from York District Hospital after 16 days was made amid concerns by the hospital's management over security. A hospital spokesperson said it had become increasingly difficult to guarantee the safety of other patients and staff, and the risk of a serious incident happening was too high. Prison and hospital authorities consider the fact that Mr. Horn had refused permission to be fed or treated meant that he could be equally well cared for at the prison medical centre. Barry Horn, seen here on the right, is serving an 18-year sentence for firebombing. His refusal to take food since October is a response to accusations that the government has refused to set up a royal commission on vivisection. Seen here last week, Mr. Horn's condition is said to be serious but stable. Animal rights activists say they're outraged by the latest move and accuse the authorities of accelerating Mr. Horn's death. Police services across Britain are on alert against a possible wave of attacks by activists in the event of his death. Kurt Barling, BBC News.
The former Chilean dictator...
In prison from hospital, doctors say he's refused treatment and can now be equally well cared for in the medical centre at Full Sutton Jail. The animal rights campaigner, who's a convicted arsonist, has been on hunger strike for 66 days. He's trying to force the government to set up a royal commission on animal testing. It's been...
Okay. Some more news clips about it.
He's now seriously ill, almost 9 weeks into his hunger strike. He wants a royal commission into experiments on animals, but the government says it won't be blackmailed.
Oh, and the description of the channel. Oh, John McKenzie. Oh, okay. Interesting. I didn't put the link to the last one. It was so short. Here's this one.
Colin Baker reports.
Barry Horn supporters say he's close to slipping into a coma. He's close to the point of no return. He has already starved himself longer than most of the IRA hunger strikers, and like them, his demands seem unlikely to be met. Horn was strong enough a few days ago to rise from bed and wave to his supporters holding vigil outside the hospital. 4 years ago, he was convicted on arson and explosives charges One of his targets was Boots the chemist on the Isle of Wight. His supporters say he won't give up until the Royal Commission on Animal Experiments is established.
His hearing's gone and his skin colour is beginning to change slightly, which I think is the effect of the liver.
Some research scientists have been threatened with retaliation by animal rights militants if Horne dies.
I think this is an extremely dangerous thing to do, and it's quite clear from the way things have been going that if he does take his life this way, we're going to see some quite possibly dangerous militancy from the extremists in the Animal Liberation Front.
The successive British governments have made it clear over the years they will not submit to terrorism and blackmail. So this evening it would seem that Barry Horne's fate is very much in his own hands. Colin Baker, ITN, York.
In just over an hour from now, ITV will launch its
Government Committee of Inquiry, and yet there has already been a Government Committee of Inquiry sitting. It's a permanent committee. It's been in existence for 12 years doing exactly this. I kind of wonder whether he's got the right end of the stick here.
If there were a ban, how would it affect your work?
Well, you only have to look back over medical progress over the last 50 years to see that the vast majority of the major medical breakthroughs, antibiotics, anaesthetics, vaccines, organ transplantation, have all crucially depended at some point in the discovery process on animal studies. If you then run that forward 50 years, you'd have to say we could expect major medical breakthroughs not to happen if we were not able to do the animal studies.
But public opinion does seem to be going against you. Animal experimentation is being increasingly questioned. We've seen it removed for testing of cosmetics. Could there come a time when in major medical incidents there is no need to test on animals?
Well, I certainly don't think public opinion is running against the use of animals in medical research. In fact, most of what I've seen and heard talking to people and read in the press is very clear. The public support it where it's justified for the use in medical research. And I think that's what's important, that we make sure we only use animals in experiments where it's clearly justified, and that we look after their welfare properly when we do have to use
and
them.
are you actively trying to find another way?
Goodness gracious, yes. Tens of millions of pounds are spent every year in this country developing non-animal alternative methods. I mean, it would be much better, both ethically and for every sort of reason, if we didn't have to use animals in experiments. If we could do the research and make the breakthroughs without using animals, then...
Oh, it would be better if we didn't use animals for research. Oh, okay, then stop using animals for research, you dumb.
None of us would have to worry about...
Right, I'm getting worked up over this guy from the... When is this? 1998. 27 years later.
People threatening to kill scientists if Barry Horne died, and this whole debate would be over. But the reality is, for as far as we can see at the moment in medical science, it will still be necessary in some areas to use animals if we want to make those breakthroughs.
Dr. Matfield, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The former Conservative Cabinet Minister Jonathan H.
Interesting cuts here.
Ill in hospital tonight on the 62nd day of his hunger strike. To his supporters who've maintained a constant vigil, he's a martyr. To those who suffered from his 2-year firebombing campaign, he's little more than a terrorist. For weeks there have been reports that he's been close to death, followed by admissions that he's taken some sugared liquids. But campaigners are adamant only government agreement for a royal commission on vivisection will get him eating again.
This distraction by the media to say that people can bring him off the hunger strike, it is exactly that, a distraction. There's Labour can save him, and that's all. Labour can, all they have to do is implement their royal commission, which was promised before the election, and they can save him.
Barry Horne caused millions of pounds of damage in arson attacks on the Isle of Wight. He was jailed for 18 years after detectives caught him planting bombs in shops in Bristol. Police are expecting more violence if he dies, and death threats have been made against 10 people involved with animal experimentation. But although Labour supported a royal commission before coming to power, the government and the industry say policy cannot be dictated by blackmail.
I can't see a case for a royal commission because the government actually already has a committee which is looking at this issue of animal experimentation and has been for the last 12 years and has year on year produced recommendations and changes which have benefited animal welfare in laboratories, a Royal Commission, by comparison, would not be able to produce any report for another 2 or 3 years.
These pictures of Barry Horn were secretly filmed by his friends last week. He's apparently lost his eyesight and hearing, and his internal organs have started to fail. It's possible he'll now be moved to a more secure hospital, as authorities here are unhappy with some of the protests sparked by his hunger strike. Jane O'Brien, BBC News.
Lawyers for 8 lung cancer victims
serving an 18-year sentence for firebombing. His supporters say it's only a matter of time before his condition deteriorates beyond control. Last week he stopped drinking the sweet tea and fruit juice that sustained him during a break in his protest. Now that Barry Horn is back on iced water, a coma, then death seem inevitable. To his supporters outside York District Hospital, Labour's...
This is interesting, getting all these news reports, because we're not only seeing, you know, what happened to Barry, but how the media was talking about it. It's very interesting. Sorry to overuse a word, as I tend to do.
failure to carry out a pre-election promise of a royal commission on animal experiments is central to the protest. On the other side, the government is determined not to give in to threats. Horn has been criticised by some animal welfare groups for using emotional blackmail, which would prove counterproductive.
Emotional blackmail, eh? What's up, John Caltag? Nice to see you. Antonio, that guy, that guy we saw multiple times. Yep. What a legacy. I mean, I just always think about that. Like, think about all just the humiliating moments these people have. There, you know, the Zoe Rosenberg video that she posted of Carla Rodriguez saying, "I'm here. You can talk. You can talk to me anytime. I'm here. I'm here." They approach her with the evidence. No. Take it to the police. Just utter humiliating. Utterly humiliating. And I hope that their families will see that shit and just be like, God, fail. L. Big time L.
He was transferred to hospital from Full Sutton Prison in York after his condition deteriorated.
And imagine they send Zoe to prison. Oh, my legacy was getting a 22-year-old who cares about animals thrown in prison. What just, oh, God. These people are, I don't even want to say it. I do want to say it. I'm not, you know, whatever.
He was serving an 18-year prison sentence for his part in a firebombing campaign on the Isle of Wight and for trying to plant incendiaries in stores in Bristol. In the last decade, the animal rights movement has become increasingly violent. Horn is a member of the ALF, which has claimed responsibility for dozens of attacks in its campaign against cruelty to animals. 10 people, mainly medical researchers, have been threatened with death if Horn dies. As he weakens, the biggest fear of the...
It's just an interesting, like, listen to how the media described it. Listen.
Horn is a member of the ALF, which has claimed responsibility for dozens of attacks in its campaign against cruelty to animals.
Its campaign against cruelty to animals. Like, the media, like... I feel like I'm watching responsible media.
10 people, mainly medical researchers, have been threatened with death if Horn dies. As he weakens, the biggest fear of those 10 is that his martyrdom may validate his cause. Well, the Home Office Minister, George Howarth, is in Westminster now. Minister, first of all, on this matter of whether the government ever had any interest at all in bringing forward an animal live experiments bill, it wasn't in the manifesto, but it was in literature.
After we watch this in the one other video, well, actually, maybe even before, I'm going to pull up my own interview with John Curtin about Barry Horn, because it's very interesting how he talks about it. To use that word again, I'm sorry, it's a habit. I don't know.
Before the manifesto?
No, there was a suggestion that we would have a royal commission. And that's still an option. It's still something that we're considering. But in the meantime, what we've been doing is carrying out an agenda. For example, we've banned all cosmetic testing. There are no more tests going on with tobacco or alcohol products, and we're getting on with that agenda. But I mean, in the meantime, I think it is important that those who care about animals recognise that there is an agenda we are working to, and we still haven't ruled out the prospect of a royal commission.
Have you had any direct contact with Mr. Horne? Any attempt perhaps to dissuade him from dying?
Well, no, but there has been contact between his supporters and the officials in the Home Office who deal with these issues, and there's certainly been some discussion on that. But I wouldn't want to leave anybody with the impression that we're in some sort of negotiating situation. We're not. It would be totally inappropriate in these sorts of circumstances to negotiate government policy alongside any action that anyone, Mr. Horne or anyone else for that matter, might take.
Well, given that there are very few days left of his life, I would imagine, I suppose it's important to try and clarify, what is the window of opportunity for this decision to be made about a royal commission?
Well, it's something that we will take a decision on at a pace that's appropriate.
Well, what is the appropriate pace?
Well, the appropriate pace is the way in which we will deal with these sorts of issues. The immediate priority is to deal with where we can reduce the number of experiments, particularly as we have already done so with cosmetic testing and with alcohol and tobacco products. We'll press on with that agenda.
But you had 18 years in opposition to think about a royal commission. It's a pretty specific move, isn't it? I mean, surely you've now made up your mind.
Well, we've had 18 months only in government, and it isn't an issue. It's one we are considering, and when the time is right, we'll make some sort of decision one way or the other. But it should be...
well, are you saying that, for example, his death would delay such a decision because you wouldn't then be able to make it because of blackmail or whatever?
Well, certainly what we won't do, and no government in a democracy could do, is respond to any kind of blackmail. Government simply cannot operate in a democracy on that sort of basis, and we certainly won't.
George Howe, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, it is not everyone's idea.
All right, there's that. Let me pull up my own interview, which I don't usually do, but as you can see, AI or something put this put these things here, because I didn't do that. Very helpful. I've only read about them. I've never... Hang on. Jill Fitt. People wrote a lot about Barry Horne.
And we've all put the hard work in, and it's starting to pay off.
Yeah, you know, I did a conversation with Tom Harris, who had written the book about the Shack campaign, and he wrote a lot about Barry Horne. And it sounded to me like so many people were inspired by what he was doing. You may be the first person that I've talked to who actually knew him personally. I'm wondering, you know, and you also knew Jill Phipps, I know, and I wonder if you can give me a sense of what these people were like, you know, because I've only read about them. I've never talked to somebody who knew them.
It'd be a pleasure to. It'd be a pleasure and an honor to. And the thing I'm smiling is because they're two very different people. There's no such thing as the animal right. In tabloid media, there's the animal rights protester, you know, which is this hateful, robotic, you know, they're just stereotyped. Two very different people. The thing I can't stop, I'll talk about Barry first because it's dying to me. Barry,
you had a very bad signal, by the way, as you can see, which is kind of like I kind of love that in a way. I hate it, you know, because it disrupts the interview. But in a way, as I wrote, I think in the description, it's just like something about these old animal rights guys. Like part of their charm is like they're not all up on the technology and stuff, and there they are at Camp Beagle. Like you don't have a good signal there, so it's hard to get it. John kept like blocking the microphone while he was talking. He was like, I couldn't stop him because he was like in a flow, and he kept doing it. I was like, John, you got to stop blocking the mic. He's like, I keep doing that. John.
The bastard I call them. When I say he's a very good friend to me, Barry the bastard, I called him. When I say he's a very good friend, me and Barry never stopped arguing. And I think that's getting lost now, especially within animal rights. This podcast will go to a lot of animal rights people, and they're all aware of all the toxic arguments that go on. Because people now do it all on their phones. It's all about this opinion, that opinion. And you can do it all from your bedroom. You can be part of the movement now and never leave your bedroom. Once upon a time, you had to get out of your bed, go to the meeting, go to the demo. Me and Barry always had massive arguments, fights. Not physical fight, but it come near it a few times. Good. I like having a stand-up. Come on, this is a serious issue. When I try and argue with people these days, face to face, they're like, "Oh, John, you shouted at me." Like, come on. Like, you can do all the hate you want on your phone, but when it comes to a stand-up, fuck that. What are you fucking talking about? That was me and Barry, right? Because Barry was always, this is at a time when I was doing crazy shit, like we'll talk about that if you want. Some mad things.
We did.
Barry was an extremist to me. You'd have to Barry, no, Barry, easy, Barry, but the reason, the best thing that you said, yeah, you're the one that knew him, right? When he was dying on hunger strike hospital, I got a message, and it was like a big in-joke. I got a message that Barry wanted me to talk at his funeral, and that's a real honor,
Yeah.
While he's on his death.
What's up, Vegan Church Service? Thank you for the kind message. That's really nice of you. Thank you for doing the same. What's up, Jay Ash? Nice to see you as well. By the way, sorry if I've ever... I try to keep up with... I try to read every single message that is sent. Every now and then I miss something, so I apologize if... I don't read them out loud. I read them. But I apologize if I sometimes miss.
But the practical joke is, because me and Barry always used to have massive fights, but he knew what he was doing. And by me talking at his funeral, I couldn't start by saying, "Oh, Barry was such a lovely man, such a gentle soul. Oh, I have nothing but pleasant memories of Barry." No, Barry the bastard. But whoa, what a warrior, And like I said, we'll talk about some of the crazy shit I did. Barry would Barry, easy. But it's good. You always need someone. So even within hardcore animal rights, you're going to get someone who shocks them, who no, we're not doing that. So that was Barry, real driven, working class guy. I remember Barry. When I come out of prison, I set up a small animal rights group in Northampton, and Barry's wife had come along. And the next meeting, Barry came along, and he was you could tell he was he's all right, this guy. He was like a trade unionist, Labour Party, sort of left wing, socialisty kind of, just a really guy who, say if the racists, the National Front, the Ku Klux Klan in your term, if they were in town, Barry's going to be at the front, fuck off. That kind of guy, a football fan. He's buried not in an animal rights t-shirt. He's buried in Northampton Town Football Club t-shirt. A down-to-earth bin man. He was a bin man, a dustbin man with no airs and graces, but he was solid. And he fitted in perfectly. When Barry walked in that room, I thought, yeah, let's do business,
Yeah. What can you tell me? What were
any questions about Barry?
Well, I'm just curious. You said that you guys fought all the time. I wonder, was it just about all kinds of different things, or did you guys have some real common disagreements that came up all the time?
I, even then, would always have a spin kind of on the public perception. That would hold me back a bit, but Barry didn't. But this is at a time we're burning slaughterhouses.
Just a little note about this interview is that I feel like there are people who wouldn't have published this because of the tech issues and would have said no, it's not good enough. It's not we got to serve the viewer or the listener or whatever. People that I've worked with in the past would have said this doesn't pass muster. And I don't care. Suck it up, Buttercup. You just get through it. I don't know. Like, I try to clean it up to some extent, but like his words are so beautiful. Like how are you going to stop this guy from like, no, signal's too bad, John. We're gonna like, what are you going to do?
And I'll talk about it, some other mad stuff. But
That's why I like working alone. I really, I really like working on my own terms and doing things my way, because I feel like people's opinions get in the way a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. I realize that we do some of our best work in groups, and I'll attest to that. But as much as I can do things completely on my own, I do, because I just find I have certain ways of working that are not like other people, and it works better.
Stuff I did, I always had the public in mind.
I don't know.
Barry didn't. Fuck them. It's got nothing to do with them. It's between us and the animal abusers. I don't give a shit what this looks like. They understand. Most people, I'd be like the far out, way out extremists, but to Barry, I was the liberal moderate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You were the snowflake, I guess, right?
Like when Barry, what he got caught for was burning down whole shopping centres, you know?
Oh,
he wasn't going for one shop. He'd take the whole shopping centre out. Whereas I'd go, no, Barry, just do the one shop. Nah. You know, like, and Barry actually, when he got caught, what he got caught for, he eventually went off on his own. And he's the only one I've ever known properly do it. Barry decided to do that eventually because he was maybe sick of getting held back by people like me. No, Barry, you can't do that.
How long was he doing that for? Like when he was like basically doing things off on his own, being a loner?
Only the last about 2 years. About the last, but eventually the police got onto him. They did a lot of surveillance, and they caught him.
Yeah.
He got 18 years. I was in court when he got sentenced, and it was unbelievable. Even though it was for a lot of, it was for damage. It was for millions of pounds of damage. And I remember being in court, and I remember the prosecution standing up, and Barry was charged with endangering life. And I remember the prosecution saying, we accept that he didn't intend to endanger life, because he didn't. You know, it was damage again. It was obviously it's dangerous setting fire to a bloody shopping centre, but you know, you do it in the middle of the night. You're not targeting. The idea isn't to hurt people. And I remember the lead up to his sentencing, and the prosecution were accepting that. And we were accepting Barry to get hammered, which at that point, because they were increasing the sentences, was like, shit, he's going to get 10 years. And they gave him 18 years. And do you know what Barry did when they gave him 18 years? He was like, fist in the air. Whoa. You know, it was like,
wow.
Go on, Barry, you know? And that's why when he got to prison, he didn't stop fighting. And that's when he did his series of hunger strikes. That was horrible. It was horrible. It's a horrible time. And because the weird paradox is, none of us wanted Barry to die. You know what I mean? But we had to support him. We had a little committee, and he actually did 3 hunger strikes. And it was interesting to see how the government would react. They'd panic as he was getting, say, into 30 days, because you've probably heard of people doing hunger strikes. But I don't like it when I hear people do hunger strikes, and it's over the weekend, or it's for a week. Now, hunger strike, they use it in Irish history. They use it in Indian rebellion. They use it in the Kurds. It's used all over the world as a really powerful tool, because it's one of the most violent things you can do to yourself. It's very hard, and you don't get fascist or racist or anything going on hunger strike. You know, it's normally something. There must be some burning injustice behind it. And we had a little committee to support Barry while he was on hunger strike, and it was interesting to see the government would start panicking. Say when he got to 30 days, you can do a fast for 10 days. It's healthy for you. You can do 20 days. Some people would say 30 days. You know, people go on spiritual retreats and don't food for 30 days. The body can cope with that. It's when you go beyond 30 days. So eventually the government would start wanting to see our committee, and they'd call us in, and they'd start doing this negotiation. And we'd go to see Barry in prison, and Barry would call off the hunger strike because it looks promising. But then once it was obvious that they were just playing games, Barry was going back on hunger strike. And his last hunger strike, man, was 68 days. And do you know what they did? Do you know, I said I got a message that the Barry wanted me to talk at his funeral. That's when he was dying. It was all over the news. The animal rights movement was we were ready to go mental. And I've experienced it. We'll talk about Jill in a minute. And I knew Mike Hill as well, who was killed. Mike Hill's another friend of mine who got killed. And it's like as if, oh, look at Pepe, look, and she's beautiful. You're beautiful.
Oh, Pepe.
Look at her.
Pepe's like, Pepe wants
Do you
to be
want to
part
look
of the
at her
podcast.
while I talk rather than listen to Mike?
Maybe we can. I've got my little pup here
Where
too.
was I? Barry, listen to this, right? Barry's dying. His family are with him. And after 30 days, they take him to hospital because he's dying. And then the prison officers would have to be at the door. But he's in charge. The doctors are in charge at the hospital. Kind of rules change. And and the doctors would allow the family to be with him and close friends. On day 68, so they moved to the hospital on day 30. Now Barry was due to die. And you imagine it, he's got his wife and his kids, best friends. But Barry told us, because we knew what happens in a hunger strike. This is really sad. This is horrible. The first thing that gets attacked is the brain, because the brain is a big lump of fat. It's big, massive. It's a few kilos of fat. It takes a load of energy to run our brains. What the fuck do we do with it? Paint the Sistine Chapel, do crosswords, and kill loads of animals and destroy the planet. Well done, human beings, with this massive brain. Talk about a waste. Anyway, there's this big brain. When you're on a hunger strike, the brain looks to like body storage. And you start to go mad. And Barry always pleaded with people, remind me, I'm going to lose my mind maybe, but I need you to remind me what I'm doing. Horrible, horrible. But do you know what the government did on day 68? He's just about to die. They moved him back to the hospital. So he's surrounded by family who Barry's delirious by now. But so he wakes up that next morning, or the next thing you know, he's in hospital with no family, no friends, no doctors, prison officers who offer him food. Barry's like hallucinating by now. And he ate the food because he didn't even hardly know his name by then. It's a painful thing to talk about, actually. And that broke the hunger strike. And then Barry died sometime afterwards. It was and it didn't get the impact that Barry wanted, because it was a very successful government move. Take him out of the hospital, isolate him, break his hunger strike. And it worked. And it didn't. I think on one level, Barry's hunger strike was to the Labour government. Barry was a Labour man, he was a socialist, but he didn't trust the politicians. I don't think his message was to the government. It was to us. It was to me and you. It was to animal rights people. Barry was a warrior, and he was sending a message to us, like by all means necessary, and that sacrifice is involved. And we were ready. We were primed to explode at that point. But the way the government did it, Barry died way after that, and he never recovered. Very sad.
You had mentioned that some people would think like maybe there you saw a cut right there. That's how bad. I usually don't have to do that in interviews. By the way, this interview, like what the part that we're watching right now is when the signal was good. Like towards the end, I literally, because like John was doing that, I had to go in and edit every time he talked, bring up the sound, and do it was a bit of work to get this one out. Barry died in vain, but it was very clear that at the time that people were absolutely inspired by what he was doing. And now here he is, and it's all these many decades later, and we're still speaking his name. And that's why I'm glad that we have people like you able to.
Here's Barry.
Yeah, let's.
He ain't forgotten. He's in my heart.
Definitely not.
Ron. Here's Ron, our patron. Look at him, 102. And there's Barry. So no, Barry didn't die in vain.
Definitely not. And he's still inspiring you to this day, I'm sure. I'm sure he's still a very big source of inspiration for you.
if you ever look back, right, there's one picture and it appeared in all the papers, and it's Barry's funeral. And the strange thing is, we're all smiling. We've all got massive grin from here to here. It's a bizarre photograph. We're carrying the coffin, and what it was, he wanted to be carried through Northampton because he loved Northampton, and he loved his local football team. They were crap team, and they never won anything, but he loved them. So Barry had one of these green burials, you know, and he really nice. He was an oak tree, and the coffin was like made of paper mache, beautiful, purple thing with all Celtic designs on it. But it was made of paper mache, and we had these bamboo poles, and we carried it on our shoulders, and we took it in turns to carry it because it was a great honour to carry our brother Barry. But it was pouring rain, and the paper mache started to get soggy, and the lid of the paper mache, and it was like quite obvious, unless we hurry up, any minute now, Barry, it's all going to collapse, and Barry's dead body is going to be. But Barry was had a very, very dark sense of humour. He was into like heavy metal and Black Sabbath, and I still got a bad sense of humour to this day. I'm really worried about what's happened to jokes and humour. You know, with all political correctness, I'm a politically correct person and all that, but for fuck's sake, jokes are jokes, you know. But we had a dark sense of humour, and we were loving it because we know Barry would enjoy that moment, you know, because it's meant to be all solemn. And there's us thinking, shit, man, this fucking paper mache is going to Barry. But we knew he'd like it. We knew he'd enjoy it. After Barry died, you had the consort. They had something called the Consort Beagle campaign. That got shut down. The whole shack thing happened. The whole Huntingdon thing after Barry's hunger strike. So Barry's immediate death didn't cause the spike that it would have. But it really helped create a whole new wave of action.
All right. Well, just thought I'd share that with y'all. Here's the link to that. After that, we talk about Jill Phipps, and y'all can check that out if you want. Let me catch up. Like to see Harami interview animal liberation TV broadcaster. I don't know what that is. But what a guy John Curtin is. What's up, Savvy? What a guy. We talked about doing another one because we were going to talk about one of these big lab raids that John was a part of. And he was like, we should do one where we kind of go behind how the raid was done. So, yeah, I should just do that. Let's just make that happen. Let's go back to this here. Let's watch that last one. I just wanted y'all to have some of the context from someone who knew Barry Horn himself. I was thinking about, we were hearing from that government guy, and I was thinking about how he's talking about how they betrayed Barry.
Pledged to appoint a royal commission on vivisection. If they don't announce one in a matter of days, he'll die. And he may well die anyway, such is his state of health. The fight for the rights of animals has created a new radical class across the spectrum, and they're supporting him with letters, cards, and the threat of more direct action. Here's Jackie Long.
All the trappings of martyrdom are already in place. His supporters stand in the candlelight to honour Barry Horn's sacrifice. 55 days without food, and the threat of death now very real. Fellow campaigner Alison Lawson has been visiting him every day.
He's feeling very rough and very weak. His eyesight is really bad again, and I've been reading his mail and cards out to him.
These pictures of Barry Horn were filmed secretly last week. With every day, his condition deteriorates.
The hospital says he's seriously ill, but stable. Barry Horn, seen here on the right, became well known to police during years of militant activism. It culminated in an 18-year jail sentence for arson attacks on shops. Last month, in Full Sutton Prison in York, he began refusing food. His original demands for a whole series of changes to the laws on animal testing have been boiled down to just one: a royal commission on vivisection.
The government said today it won't let policy be dictated by blackmailers. The rather awkward fact is that Barry Horn's demand for a royal commission is not one of the outrageous excesses of animal rights extremism. In fact, the government itself promised one, before it came into government, that is. Determined to capitalise on the increasingly broad church of animal rights supporters, it published this leaflet. New Labour would mean a new life for animals and a royal commission which would review the effectiveness and justification for animal experiments.
Remember that as we hear the Trump administration talk about ending animal testing. You've got people like RFK saying we ought to get rid of animal testing. You've got a lot of signals that they want to do it. So what are they actually doing? Pay attention to White Coat Waste, who's been calling out how the words of the Trump administration aren't really matching up with the actions of the Trump administration, sadly, even though there are some positive signals. But it's important to remember this history, especially when we look at what Trump is doing right now and what the NIH is doing. That's the National Institutes of Health in America.
It's a difficult situation for Labour's Tony Clark. He's Barry's MP and shares at least some of his concerns about animal welfare.
Well, the current situation is that Barry wants the Royal Commission. Now, the government haven't ruled that out. They haven't said there won't be one, but for obvious reasons, they cannot respond to a demand. Now, there has been movement, and over the last 18 months, we have seen a stop to testing for alcohol use, for tobacco use, for aggressive weapon use, cosmetics and cosmetic ingredients. But what I hope is that we can get those in the animal welfare movement to see that there is progress and there is a momentum, and that we can take that work forward.
The death of Jill Phipps in 1995 gave the animal rights campaigners their first martyr. She was killed when she was hit by a truck as she demonstrated against the transportation of veal. Jill's mother is a close friend of Barry Horn's. She says his willingness to die for the cause has been heavily influenced by the death of her daughter.
Barry had a portrait of Jill over his bed in Full Sutton Prison, and he used to say to me that she gave him inspiration, and I can't believe that now he's lying only hours from death. I do honestly think that there will be such anger if Barry dies that, you know, the police won't know what hit them.
The risks of working in animal testing are all too clear. These cars were blown up by the Animal Liberation Front in 1990. Now the industry is already preparing for the worst.
Well, if Barry Horn does take his own life in this way, it's likely that the extreme end in the ALF will get more militant. And we are warning anyone who's been a target of the Animal Liberation Front in recent years to be particularly vigilant about their security if this happens.
The ALF had a non-violence policy, so non-violence towards humans and animals. So if there was violence committed against humans, it wasn't the ALF.
Because you expect further attacks?
It's difficult to know precisely what to predict, but I think we will see a situation, if Barry Horn takes his own life in this way, where the ALF want to seek some sort of vengeance.
The whole issue of animal testing has been brought
Trigger
in from
warning.
the fringes in the past few years, and pressure on the government to act on animal welfare is much greater. Nevertheless, the vast majority of tests on animals are still for medical reasons, and that, according to one of the world's leading scientists, means they remain vital.
Oh, really?
I object strongly to extremists blackmailing us like this. If the government gives way and establishes a royal commission, what else will it give way to? Every extremist in the country will go on hunger strike for his or her cause. One has
And that would be bad, Stephen Hawking?
to stand hunger strike for his or her cause. One has to stand up to extremists like the Animal Rights Front, even though many
The Animal Rights Front.
people are afraid to do so.
ARF, the old Animal Rights Front. That's disappointing to see from Stephen Hawking. What's up, Nilf? You taking off, John? Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. I see. Did someone mention the Philippines? Aren't they getting blasted by a serious typhoon? Cheer you up, Nilf? What happened today? Tell me what happened. Let's talk about it. Well, okay, this might cheer you up, Nilf. The game that I'm going to play tonight is called Mirror's Edge. Now, I have to temper your excitement a little bit, Nilf, because while the character of the game is a badass femme fatale, as I tend to, play as, it's most of the game takes place in the first person, but it looks cool as fuck, and I'm excited. And I think I'm going to start a series on my channel called Games That Jeremy Missed, because this is an old game. It came out like 10 years ago. I'm going to play Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I did not, Nilf. I did not get into that outhouse, and I left the stream in a huff because it was bullshit. You saw it. Sabby saw it. It was bullshit. And yeah. And I won't stand for that. I won't tolerate bullshit from a game. I'm not going to be bullied by a game. That's what I did. I stood up for myself.
I expect I will receive a load of hate mail tomorrow.
I hope you do. Well, look at him smiling. I imagine I'll receive hate mail for, saying that animals should die for me. Go fuck yourself, Professor Stephen Hawking.
Tonight, though, at another vigil outside the House of Commons, the powerful allure of Barry Horn's potential martyrdom is winning over a new generation.
That's not a phrase I ever thought I would say. Go fuck yourself, Stephen Hawking. But go fuck yourself, Stephen Hawking.
What he's doing.
You envy him, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could do the same, but I'm a bit young and can't really do it.
It's a dilemma for the Labour government. They don't want to give in to blackmail, but can they watch someone die? For a royal commission, they said they'd deliver.
That report by Jackie Long. Well, first of all, George Howard, will you let Barry Horn die?
Well, the question isn't whether we let him die or not. The question is whether he chooses to go on with the hunger strike, and I hope he will decide to come off it.
But the point is, though, that in here is a statement by the government, while in opposition, while looking for people's votes, that you would support a royal commission. And there's no royal commission.
Well, we haven't ruled the option of a royal commission out. What we've said repeatedly is that we are working to an agenda in the meantime, given the resources that are available to us.
You lied.
To eliminate as far as possible. For example, in cosmetic testing, we've already achieved that. In tobacco and alcohol, we've already achieved that. The effort has to go into reducing the number of experiments rather than to the gesture at the moment of a royal commission.
Well, sorry, if it is a gesture now, then you didn't call it a gesture before the election. What is the problem with establishing...
Good question. Oh, man. Journalists, they were different back in the day. You didn't call it a gesture before the election when you put that pamphlet out, did you? Good question. Good question.
The Royal Commission, which is not you saying, but
Let them go
Let's hear it again.
reducing the number of.
Because my kink is journalists doing their job, and that just turned me on. Sorry, guys.
Experiments rather than to the gesture at the moment of a Royal Commission.
Well, sorry, you know, if it's a gesture now, then you didn't call it a gesture before the election. What is the problem with establishing a Royal Commission, which is not you saying we're going to end animal testing? It's a commission to look at it, and that is what Barry Horne wants.
Well, I've said that we will not rule that out. But the issue at the moment is we cannot respond to the pressure of somebody who's on a hunger strike, or for that matter, any act of terrorism. Because if we respond to that, then all policy making in the future could be dictated to by that kind of action. No government can submit to blackmail, and we certainly won't.
Rob, basically, you know, in the end of the day, then, you know, you will have
broke your promise.
Basically, you know, in the end of the day, then, you know, you will have to let him die.
Well, it's not our choice. He has the option, and I hope those who support him will join us in urging him to come off the hunger strike, and then we can all start to make some progress on an issue that there is a lot of areas of work that we can work together on.
Robin...
Oh, is that what happened? Is that what happened after he died? Is that what happened? Labour government?
From the ALF, this will give you another martyr. I mean, you could be quite cynical about this. This kind of adds to your cause, doesn't it, if he dies?
No, we're not going to have a martyr. We're going to have yet another casualty. And Mr. Howarth is quite wrong to say that tests on cosmetics and alcohol and tobacco have been banned. It hasn't been banned by the government. Alcohol to how
dies.
Here's some of my ignorance. I've never heard of this guy before. It's interesting. Spokesperson for the ALF, Robin Webb.
Going to have a martyr. We're going to have yet another casualty. And Mr. Howarth is quite wrong to say that tests on cosmetics and alcohol and tobacco have been banned. It hasn't been banned by the government. They've been voluntary.
Well, let's just stick. Let's just stick to
Mr.
this.
Howarth made this point, and they've been voluntarily ended by the industry.
Let's just stick to this.
Mr. Howarth made this point. Been voluntary.
Well, let's just stick.
I was just looking to see if he was in a wheelchair. It looked almost like a wheelchair to me, but his chair looks like that too.
Ended voluntarily by.
Let's just stick to
Mr.
this.
Howarth made this point, and they've been voluntarily ended by the industry themselves. And I would, if I may also say, it was most unfair. At the beginning of the programme, we saw 2 cars car bombed, and that was not the Animal Liberation Front. It was never claimed.
See, there you go. That's a great point. That's a great point. Wasn't expecting a call from these guys right now. Just going to continue on.
As such, and the only person ever convicted of placing an animal rights car bomb was a huntsman who said he did it to discredit the animal rights
Let's just be quite clear. There is an extreme wing of the ALF, isn't there, called the Justice Department, who carries out acts of sabotage.
To discredit the Animal Liberation Front. It was never claimed. It was most unfair. At the beginning of the programme, we saw 2 cars car bombed, and that was not the Animal Liberation Front. It was never claimed as such, and the only person ever convicted of placing an animal rights car bomb was a huntsman who said he did it to discredit the animal rights
Let's just be quite clear. There is an extreme wing of the ALF, isn't there, called the Justice Department, who carries out acts of sabotage and terrorist acts in the name of animal liberation.
No, the terrorists are the people torturing animals behind the closed, locked doors of laboratories.
Okay.
If they have nothing to hide, why did the Animal Scientific Procedures Act make it an offence to reveal what goes on in laboratories?
If Barry Horne dies, do you abhor what Jill Phipps' mother said, that the police won't know what's hit them? Would you actively say now that if Barry Horne dies, you hope there is not another act of terrorism of any sort by animal liberationists?
He just answered this, by the way, by calling what the animal exploiters do as the real terrorism. So had you been, not thinking about your next question and instead listening to the answer that you were given in the previous question, you wouldn't have phrased it like that. I lost my boner. I lost my journalism boner for her. Damn it.
Barry Horn dies, I hope there's not another act of terrorism.
That's the thing about boners, you guys. They come and they go. Sorry to get all philosophical on you. But all good things must come to an end.
Against all the innocent creatures, human and non-human.
Sorry.
You know,
Let me be serious again. And catch up on the chat. Let me make sure I'm not losing people talking about boners. Hey, numbers are up. That's nice. Yeah. That would be awesome, Aston. Vegan parkour animal liberation game. That would be badass. It's a parkour game, guys, tonight. I'm doing it. It's not one of those days where I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll stream later. I'm going to do it. What's up, Jeffrey? Mirror's Edge. Yeah, I wish they had a third person. I hope they make a third one. It looks really cool. It looks like it didn't do well, the second one, so they stopped. Anyway. Einstein advocated for veganism before he died. On the other hand, nothing will benefit human health and increase chances for survival of life on Earth as much as the evolution to a vegetarian diet. Interesting. Yeah, I knew Einstein was considered to be a vegetarian in the later part of his life. And by the way, you know, this was before the word vegan even existed, so he was probably ethically vegan. What's the deal with Shaq? What do you mean? What do you mean, what's the deal with them? Maybe he would admit. Yeah, vegan, exactly. Sabby, sometimes they go before that when you get disappointed because you had the promise of a good journalist. And, you know, I thought she was. And, you know, she's still doing a decent job. What's up, Kane? Kane, always lurking. Always lurking. We can never talk about Kane, guys. Can't talk about Kane because for all we know, he's right there. I was gonna talk mad shit on Kane, but I've learned now that he might just be watching.
Phip's mother said that the police won't know what's hit them. Would you actively say now that if Barry Horn dies, you hope there is not another act of terrorism of any sort by animal liberationists?
If Barry Horn dies, I hope there's not another act of terrorism against all the innocent creatures, human and non-human, in this world. It is not blackmail. It is merely asking the government to honour a pre-election pledge. It could equally be said that a letter saying, unless you introduce a Royal Commission, I won't vote for Labour in the next election, that could be called blackmail. I find that an offensive attitude from Mr. Howard.
Andrew Blake.
I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. I mean, of course, he's a spokesperson for the ALF, but...
I'd like to bring you,
Great
you are
answer.
part of the group that Stephen Hawkins is involved in. And
that's called nailing an answer. You know what? My boner's back, guys. It's back.
You have a disease of the central nervous system. Why is animal research crucial to you?
Mine's a genetic disorder, and they identified the gene that causes it. In 1996, they isolated it. They put that into mice. They are already making great strides in finding out what goes wrong in the living body. Now, people like Robin Webb will say, well, why don't you use people like me? Okay, fair enough. I'll tell you why. Because a lot of research, you have to put the animal down afterwards and do a post-mortem.
No. You don't have to put the animal down. They do put the animals down. This guy's full of shit. And I'm not going to coddle him because of his health issue. He's fucking lying. This guy, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Also, he's probably misrepresenting what the ALF guy said, Robin. What he said. He's probably said that there are plenty, if I'll just say what it would be probably stated as, is that there are plenty of people who are willing to be the recipients of experimental drugs themselves because they're out of options. And in fact, what happens is they have to wait for these meaningless animal tests to not prove anything or just prove whether or not it killed a dog. So they're sitting there waiting and dying for these drugs that they would be willing to take themselves. Instead, we subject animals to them. So no. Yeah.
Operation to find out what has gone wrong on a molecular level. Now, not many patients will be
I hope he gets a chance to respond.
willing to put forward themselves. If there certainly would be no medical research who would terminate the life of a patient.
Now, Robin Webb, can you equate Andrew Blake's life and his life expectancy with the life of a mouse?
Well, I can't understand.
Can you? And that's a straightforward question.
Let me answer this question.
Handle it. He fucking batted 1,000 in the last answer. I'm so interested to see how he responds to this.
Then please, I take Andrew Blake's point that I would ask for people like him to be used. My own sister was a spastic who never walked. I've worked both voluntarily and professionally for the physically. Allow me to finish, please. For the physically disadvantaged.
So
Let the man speak.
Are not more important than humans. Individuals are important.
That patients.
He didn't get a chance to finish his answer. I'm sure he was going to get to kind of what I said.
Go in for a post-mortem. Excuse me, but we're not a Nazi government here.
Yeah, you kind of are to the animals. So you get to pick and choose who lives, who dies, but you're not the Nazi government. Whatever, dude.
What I am saying, I certainly am not saying use you as a model any more than I would have said use my sister.
That's exactly what you are saying.
What I am saying.
Someone needs to moderate a little better. Come on, journalist lady, do a little moderating.
Is that, for example, the pharmaceutical company Siebes Geigy, in its own report, showed that 95% of drugs which had been tested and found both safe and effective on animals were dismissed as useless after clinical trials.
Let's just leave that particular point there and bring in Professor.
Let's just leave that point there because that just, careful now, careful. Look at this photograph they have there. I mean, we got fucking ghouls in this room defending it.
Martin, now, you carry out animal experiments.
Sorry, let me catch up on. Got all worked up there. God, I'm going through all kinds of changes, physiological changes. It's a lot. Exactly, Tess. They lead to absolutely nothing, and they actually delay help. Because they have to go through this fucking whole process that is absurd, and people are lying on their deathbeds hoping for a miracle drug, and they would say, give me that fucking drug. Why are you throwing it into a fucking mouse? Give me the drug. I'm the one on my deathbed. The mouse didn't do anything. Why are you subjecting innocent animals to this? It's not their problem. Oh, man. Yeah. We just don't. We don't think beyond ourselves.
If you knew that it was unacceptable to carry out experiments on animals, don't you think the medical world would make much greater strides in a synthetic form of experimentation?
Well, I myself try to do synthetic experimentation. I use alternative.
By the way, I don't like this term, synthetic testing, because it's all like, it's like kind of feeding on this idea that, oh, it's unnatural or something. Well, testing on animals is unnatural. So I just don't, I think it's a negative framing, but that's just me.
To animal experiments. I use computer models, I use cells in test tubes in the laboratory. But at some point in the process of understanding human disease and therefore being able to prevent it, and I believe that's what the society of this country wants, I have to, regrettably, use an animal and experiment on it to understand the whole...
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You, Mr. Scientist man, should be able to think because you spent your whole life, didn't you, in school? All your life. You know, this is your life, scientist guy. What did you tell me, teacher? Oh, now I'm encouraged to think. Okay, think. All your life, that's what you've been doing. Now, let me ask you if you can think a little bit. And I saw a great interview that the White Coat Waste did, probably on some right-winger show or something, where he was saying that one of the good things about, and I think, White Coat Waste is like right-wing, but he said one of the things, and again, I'm going to preface this with the whole bullshit that they're pulling in the Trump administration, but he said at least that they don't have the same reverence for the authority that some on the left have. This like reverence. This guy who's clearly an intelligent person, he learned how to put on a tie. That's tough shit. I struggle with that. But yeah, he can tie his own tie. So he should be able to like question things and think things like regrettably, let's hear it again. Regrettably, I have
try to do synthetic experimentation. I use alternatives to animal experiments. I use computer models, I use cells in test tubes in the laboratory. But at some point in the process of understanding human disease and therefore being able to prevent it.
Understanding human disease. Key phrase, key word, human.
And I believe that's what the society of this country wants. I have to, regrettably, use an animal and experiment on it to understand the whole disease.
Oh, that makes so much sense, scientist guy. That's why I never eat chocolate, because I know that when they tested chocolate, it killed dogs. So I never eat chocolate. Oh, wait, we eat chocolate all the fucking time. We're addicted to chocolate. Isn't that right, scientist guy? Oh, well, I guess our bodies are different. And if your argument is that their bodies are the same, then that means they also feel the same, scientist guy. So,
Can I just comment on a philosophical problem that Robin Webb mentioned? I think in what he was saying, he was valuing animals equally with human beings. Now, I believe animals are valuable and I respect them, but I believe...
No, you don't. You don't believe animals are valuable and you don't respect them. And Robin actually didn't say that. He said that I value the individuals or something. He did not. You're putting words in his mouth. He actually didn't say that humans and animals are equal. He didn't have to. He probably certainly feels that they have the same moral consideration, but he didn't say that. And you don't have to be kind. Welcome to veganism.
Human beings are more valuable than animals. And I think 95% of all the people of this country will accept.
By what metric are humans more valuable than animals? Because by my metric, humans are destroying the planet, dirtying the oceans, killing off the animals by the trillions every year, and exponentially growing our numbers. We're now over 8 billion human beings. And that number is rising, last I checked, about 1 human every second. So I don't know. Actually, maybe humans aren't so valuable. And in fact, are maybe a burden on the planet, actually. So yeah, maybe the scientist guy could run some numbers like I did, not a scientist guy. I'm not a scientist guy. He's a scientist guy. How come scientist guys are often the guys who do the least amount of thinking? I don't get it. They're smart guys. They'd have to be, right? Oh, wait. I feel it's almost unfair to bring up Neil deGrasse Tyson, a man so clearly lacking in intellect, buffoonish stupidity, hailed as a genius by probably even people in this room, probably even my viewers. Some people think he's a genius. That man is stupid.
That human beings write poetry, they play music, they love each other in a constructive way, they plan for the future, and there is no evidence that animals do that. Therefore, I think it's quite legitimate, as man has used animals for food and for clothing over thousands of years, to use them for our good. What I can tell you is that I am very controlled, though, in the way I use them by the Home Office, and we have the best conditions for animal welfare.
Well, good. That makes me feel a lot better, scientist guy.
In the world,
but
in this country.
Would you support a Royal Commission?
If the government thought it were necessary, I would support it.
An appeal to the government. The government knows best, don't they? Scientist guy. Wow, how pathetic. If the government thinks it's necessary, then I'll support it. But if they don't think it's necessary, I won't support it because I'm a good little boy and I follow the government. You know, my research grants depend on the government, so.
I think it's necessary to review and revise.
I think that the Home Office has a very good system of reviewing and revising.
Oh, a good system. Yeah, it's a good system. What's the context of this interview? Like, what's the timing? Oh, this is like right before Barry died. Right before.
The legislation all the time. I don't, particularly as a doctor and scientist working with animal experimentation, think it is necessary. If the country thought it were necessary, then I would go along with it and take part.
Wow, what a leader. If the country thought it was necessary, I'd go along with it. Well, just a wishy-washy guy. He probably is married and he's probably like, honey, should we get Vietnamese food today? And she's like, no. It's like, oh, no, I didn't want Vietnamese food. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I meant whatever you wanted today. That's what we should eat. Fucking wet wipe. That's what you are. You're a little wet wipe. Sorry, I'll catch up on the chat. I know I haven't been on the chat. I got all worked up with this guy. This fucking more than 2 decade old interview is somehow triggering me. And it is. I've got to go ways back. Yeah, mythological trolley problem. Meow, 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 meow. If coffee or chocolate had been tested on dogs, we would have concluded that it's toxic to us too. Exactly. Active chat. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. I'm glad y'all are chatting a lot. Make sure you sub to the channel while you're at it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all those good things. Helps out my channel a lot. I'm really trying to grow this channel much faster than it's growing. I feel like it's taking too long to hit that 1K sub count. That's what I'm aiming on, 1K. So thank you to the many people in my chat who have now donated too. That's been hugely helpful to keep doing this. It would take me a while to go through a lot of these messages, and I apologize for that. Brian is here. What's up, Brian? Nice to see you, Brian.
Very briefly, Andrew.
Well, as a patient, we did a survey of Nobel Prize winners in medicine. Of the 39 said that animal research was essential, and not one of them said it wasn't. So, whose side do we go for?
Well, let's just finally, I want to go straight to George.
We go towards the victim's side, as we should. he just appealed to the like a Nobel Prize now. Man, isn't it funny how Donald Trump like was so obsessed with getting the Nobel Peace? Not, I don't want to get on Trump. Like, what an insecure little fucking tiny.
No, George House, finally.
We have three
do you
onto
believe
one
that?
here.
Do you?
We have
Well,
three onto one.
I think you've actually quite a lot to say, and I would like to put the last point to the
Where are
Minister.
the disabled people who are against animal testing? Where are the medical people who are against animal testing? And this is why we want a royal commission to have it properly discussed.
Minister, do you believe there's a hierarchy, like Professor Martin says? And
I think most sensible people would say that if the only way you can develop, for example, a new medicine or a new procedure, it would have to use animals, then it has to be justified, yes.
But it's not. Why can people just not think? Like, they're just, God, I thought brain rot was a problem today. It was a problem then too. It was from all these empty suits, fucking scientist guy, politics guy, all these fucking elites just can't fucking think.
In that sense, we've had some really good examples here today. If you can develop something that helps somebody who's already ill or prevents somebody from dying using animals, that has to be justified. But what also has to be justified through the ethical review process is that there isn't a viable alternative available.
thank you, gentlemen, very much indeed. The Sun sounds the Murdoch alert. The euro will rain down higher taxes on us, on food, on clothes, in our paychecks.
When you hit an elephant, it's no use hitting them on the body because you just scrape your what's name like that. So the only place really you can hurt them anyway.
That was an odd little addendum. All right. There's that video. You guys know what to do. Sub to that channel. Even though it's old, they're not putting out new stuff. All this stuff's like 10 years old. But that stuff's good. Or if you like, just keep it here because I'm going to watch every single video on that channel on these live streams because that is a good channel. It's really interesting. Sorry, I know I keep using the same word, but it's really fascinating. I use that one too. It's really titillating. It's titillating to learn about the past and see how they were talking about that stuff. All right, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, and I will be back in like 30 minutes probably to play Mirror's Edge Catalyst. We're going to parkour all over the place. All over the place. Nilf, I hope you feel better, buddy. Come and join me, and we will jump around on some buildings and shit. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You guys rock. This channel would be nothing without you guys, obviously. So, like, subscribe, stay tuned, all those things. What I'm doing here is, you know how like an album used to end and then there was that secret song right at the end? I'm giving y'all a secret song. What? A secret song? Yep. Because some people might have tuned away when I said, see ya. But there's an encore. I don't know what it is. I just thought of it right now. Let's do an encore. Let's find a short one. Because the encore can't, sometimes the encores are great. Okay, encore. Let's find us a little quick one. Okay, there was a 3-minute. I feel like we need context for that one. Hmm. 4 minutes. News clip, Justice Department. Let's learn. Someone mentioned Justice Department. Let's figure out what that is. I never heard of it.
Terrorism. Campaigners have been using increasingly violent tactics. Terrorism. Campaigners
94.
have been using increasingly violent tactics in recent weeks. 4 people have been injured by letter bombs and explosives. Shireen Wheeler reports.
In the name of compassion for animals, animal rights extremists have targeted hundreds of buildings and individual scientists, causing injuries and millions of pounds worth of damage. But the last few months have seen an alarming increase in violence and the number of attacks. At Oxford University, Professor Blakemore has used animals to study the causes of brain disorder. In the past, he's received numerous threats, but the week before Christmas, he was sent a letter bomb designed to kill, packed with 6 hypodermic needles. But his 19-year-old daughter received the parcel, and the professor believes narrowly escaped death.
It never occurred to me for a moment that anyone would be so callous, so cruel, as to have a package like this delivered to a home where they would know that they will be putting other innocent people at risk. But it's clear
Probably not the best content for an encore, but whatever.
that my daughter who collected this package could have been killed.
I mean, I feel like a story like this probably needs much deeper context.
By it. And of course, innocent people at risk. But it's clear that my daughter who collected this package could have been killed by it. And of course, I just feel so outraged by that possibility. Thank God it didn't happen. The thought of it is beyond belief.
Professor Blakemore isn't alone in his outrage. Mark Matfield, who represents medical researchers using animals, was also sent a letter bomb.
Man, that guy's like this. He was at one point the face of all this.
Last month, along with 11 others. With 32 attacks in the last 3 months, he and his colleagues are calling on the Home Secretary to change the law and recognise this as terrorism.
If these terrorist acts were done by the IRA, the whole force of anti-terrorist legislation of all the special police powers will be brought to bear against it. And the police have had great successes against the IRA. But against the animal rights extremists, after 12 years and 60 bombs, they have not been able to arrest any one person.
But medical researchers fear there's worse to come. This video, given to news organisations by the Animal Liberation Front, shows what they claim is the kind of bomb being used in these latest attacks. A group calling itself the Justice Department says it carried out most of them, including one on an Oxfordshire farmer in October. The Animal Liberation Front, who deny their supporters are linked with the group, nevertheless refuse to condemn their tactics.
Oh, so it wasn't the ALF, of course.
People have broken the law in dramatic ways.
There's Robin. Now we're seeing a lot of the same faces.
In the pursuit of the emancipation of women.
Group nevertheless refused to condemn their tactics.
People have broken the law in dramatic ways in the pursuit of the emancipation of women and the abolition of slavery, and this is the ultimate liberation struggle.
This is a ridiculous analogy because you are putting people's lives at risk who are working towards saving people's lives.
That's an interesting editorialization. Just when I thought we were watching, more responsible news people, she says that's a ridiculous analogy because they're trying to save people while torturing millions and millions of animals.
Through medicine.
No, they are not saving people's lives. Recently, we've seen Oprah withdrawn, Manoplex withdrawn. All these drugs have been widely tested on animals, claimed to be safe, and have harmed humans. Animal experiments, on the whole, are not relevant to humans.
But everything, I mean, vaccination, for instance, for disease, transplantation, surgery of all sorts, antibiotics, anesthetics. All of these things were developed through the use of animals.
But as these medical...
And they didn't need to be. Just because it happened doesn't mean they needed to be tested on animals.
Gets the bonus point, and of course...
Oh. Terrorism. All right. Well, there's that video. That was your encore, guys. That was the encore. Looks like most of y'all stuck around for it, too. What's up, Steven? We even got some new faces. Not new, but new to the stream today. Innocent, yeah. Antonio Diaz, what up? All right. Okay. That was the encore. That's where I got to end it here, guys, just to stay true to my word. But you guys join me in just a little bit. We're going to be jumping on buildings, flying around the city as long as I can. Thanks for the stream to distract me from the snow falling outside. I wish there was snow falling outside. I love a good snow. But I know up in Canada, it's probably more like an inconvenience. You guys are used to it. All right. Up in New York too, eh? All right. Thanks for joining, guys. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when I'm coming back to parkour all over the place, okay? Good night, guys. Thank you.